Hey guys, we are going to talk about dotted half notes. You can see them written like this. You can also see them with the stem going down. These are two ways you can see your dotted half notes written. Now let's talk about what a dotted half note means. When we see it, how many beats does it get? So if we took away the dot, we would just have a half note. Adding that dot right there, or right here, you're going to add half the value of the note that it's by. So if we were to take a half note, and we were to cut a half note in half, we would get, or let's do it this way too, we can say, what is half of 2? Because we know a half note gets 2 beats. What is half of 2? Half of 2 is 1. So we're adding 1 beat to this dotted half note. That means that we are going to be adding a quarter note. Which makes this a dotted half note, which we get 3 beats. Now this dot doesn't always equal 1. In this case it does. When we see a dot in the dotted half note, we're adding 1 beat to the half note. But if I were to do a dotted quarter note, that dot is going to mean something different. I need to figure out what half of a quarter is. So how many beats does a quarter note get? It's going to get 1 beat. What is half of 1? So if we were to split 1 in half, we would get a half. What note is worth half a beat? It's our 8th note. 1/8 note. So again, we're adding this together. So we're going to get 1 1/2, which would make our dotted quarter note. So when we see a dotted quarter note, this will get half a beat. Where when we see a dotted half note, this dot would get 1 beat. Let's do one more. You're not going to see a lot of this one. But what if you saw a dotted whole note? So we have to figure out what half of a whole is. So how many beats does a whole note get? Gets 4. So now we have to figure out what half of 4 is. So half of 4 would be 2. What note gets 2 beats? The half note. So a whole note plus a half note is going to equal a dotted half note. Sorry, dotted whole note. 4 plus 2 is going to equal 6. So a dotted whole note is going to get 6 beats. A dotted half note will get 3 beats. A dotted quarter note is going to get 1 1/2 beats. So each of these dots are going to change. Oops, I didn't color this in. Depending on what type of note it's by. So if it's by a dotted whole note, it's going to equal an extra 2 beats. If it's by a half note, it's going to equal 1 beat. And if it's by an 8th note, it's going to equal half a beat. So hopefully this helps you understand dotted half notes and also help you figure out when you see this dot in the future what you're going to do with it. Okay, so now you're ready to start looking at the dotted half notes in dreidel song.